Hello divine beings, this is Belinda Pearl, and how are you? Please leave a little how are you or tell me how you're doing in the comments below. I really want to hear how you are doing. I've been sharing these readings with you on a weekly basis. In the beginning of the pandemic it was like almost every day, and then kind of slowly trickled down to maybe once or twice a week, and now it's like once or twice a week. But it's a way of me connecting with you. It's also a way with me sharing with you, at least from guidance what's coming through, not from any kind of tabloid or any kind of newspaper or any kind of social media thing. This is just purity coming through. So I hope that you're finding this beneficial in some way. And if you are too, please leave a comment below and let me know, because I want to be able to provide you with things that you find beneficial in your life that you can actually utilize and use. So please let me know how things are, how my sharing is helping you, or if not, please let me know too. Or if you have a question about, the guidance that I'm getting in, how I get it in, or if there's anything that I'm teaching, let me know. If you're interested in any of the things that I share, and if you want to know more about that, I'd love to put on some workshops for you, as well as if there's anything that's coming up on my calendar, because there definitely is something coming up on my calendar. Spring equinox, so look for in your email inboxes. They'll be coming out soon, and if you're not on my newsletter, we go to my website belindapearl.com and put your email in there, and then I don't send out emails that often, but every once a month or so I'll send out an email. So anyhow, let us get started. Sun in Aquarius, what does that mean? This is an auspicious week. There's definitely been, history has been changed, no matter from what perspective that you look at it. History has been made across the world in general. I've definitely also been seeing volcanoes exploding in certain places, so that's concerning. I think that's probably part of this human unrest that we're feeling. I always typically think and feel that when we notice that Earth is rumbling in a way, it's really to do with humanity, how humanity is doing. If we're all raging or we're all fearful, our vibration is completely off. And so we change the vibration. It's like, say something was always like at a certain frequency and everybody on the planet, including the Earth herself, was getting on well. And then all of a sudden that other frequency changed, becomes like, the image that I'm getting is like a little like jackhammering at your tooth, which seems terrible. So maybe that's what we do, and we like the jackhammers that are out of sync. And so the vibrations off. So now we're like bouncing on the surface of Earth in a different frequency. And she's like, what is going on? You've been bouncing at this frequency, now you're bouncing at this frequency. And this frequency feels completely out of bounds, or out of, just balance. The whole equilibrium is off. So maybe this is part of guidance. I'm not sure what's going on. But Sun's in Aquarius. So this means this is time for expansion and new technologies. Prior to Sun coming into Aquarius, I kept saying these things. I always find when I'm repeating certain things over and over again, it's not really me repeating them. It's guidance that wants me to hear this, or maybe wants me to share this, or maybe I am sharing it and everybody needs to hear this in a different way. And most of the stuff is very subliminal too, because it'll be repetition of certain words. But this thing about new technologies, I've been hearing about, like, the technologies that we have are already in our hands, and in fact it's nothing that we need to do to go outside of ourselves. I just did a reading before this, and there was a lot of repetition, and sometimes when I'm doing these readings, like, the knowledge that I know tends to go away, and it's just the words that need to come through. And I always find that's part of a frequency. It's not really me. So when these words get repeated, it means that there's a message that's being delivered or transmitted. And so this idea about these technologies that are so easy, like we have it in our hands, like the technology of breathing, inhaling, exhaling, letting that all go. Yeah, I love my self-care practice that I do, where it's all about like shaking and bubbling your lips and groaning, and today we did sobbing and humming and tapping, and it was so brilliant in such a way. So if you're interested in that experience, let me know. I share it on my Patreon as well. So I have a little monthly subscription. You can always join me. But let us see, Sun in Aquarius, where we got all these technologies that want to come through. What is the technology that is needed for today, for this week? going forward into the next weeks, the next months. We never know how long we need this for, but we allow guidance just to show us what it is needed now in this moment. So let us take a deep breath in together. Find our spaciousness. Let us draw a line in the sand, like a circle all the way around us, so we can create this sacred space. And in the sacred space, let us call upon the highest beings, the highest angels that come from the highest light, so that only the purest light and the purest messages and the purest transmission comes through. We don't invite in any other vibration that's not of the highest. We attune our cable, our antenna, to that one station, so that the station that delivers to us is a station of true wisdom and truth and great healing. And I feel this is guidance that's coming through, that the sky that wants to come through is an ambassador of the light, the highest light. So let us see what they wish to share with you. Let's take another fresh breath in here together. Breathe it all out. I think we're nearly ready. I always find this interesting too, when they shuffle the deck. They're finding their way. They'll tell me when it's ready. There we go. Alrighty. Take a deep breath in again. Fill your body with luminous healing light, because we can, and that's a great technology. Let's see what guidance has for us. Oh, enlightenment, and I love this. Gosh, enlightenment, there's so many things to say, but this card itself, I've seen it before, it's come up. This deck is kind of new for me, it's about a month or two old, so I haven't met every card. The number on here is 43. Last week, we also had 4s and 3s, and I was thinking about it this week, the 4 and 3 code. So there's 4 about the heart center. Last year was heart center for 2-2, or like the 2020 coming into the 4. And then this 21 is this 3 that's coming in of this energy, which is always this divine trinity. And then the 4 is being grounded in the space of our heart and actually having this kingship or this royalship in order to see from that space of groundedness. And then coming together, they create this truth bringing, this passage opening. And it's this passage opening that's inviting us into this place of deeper, greater healing from humanity. And again, they reminded me that in fact you can't really predict or say what is coming through. This energy is actually way beyond our consciousness, and that's why it's enlightenment. It's like we're about to be activated, and this vision too that's on this card, where it's like earth and then this flower of life. And it reminds me, and I may have shared this story before, about when I was in Maui and it was raining, it was full moon. And then we were gazing up at the night sky, and my friend was showing me like to look for something. And as I was looking, I started seeing a pattern, but the pattern kept changing. I couldn't figure out what it was in the beginning at all. And then I saw something that was just greatly ancient. It was like a Mayan drawings, but it was like chiseled in this old ancient stone. And I jumped out of the meditation that I was in allowing me to see this. And I ran inside and I had to draw it down. So I drew it, and I drew the symbols and the shape, and I couldn't figure out what it was until the next day. My friend turned on his car, and on the dash little video thingamabob, there was a flower of life that popped up. He had programmed his car to show the flower of life, and it was that what I'd seen in the sky. And he knew what it was, because he said, "Belinda, it's this," but I couldn't see what it was until he turned it on. I could see the whole thing. And I can't tell you if it was just the flower of life around the earth, or if it was the flower of life that's in the cosmos, around in the universe. So I couldn't tell you what it is now even, but I remember seeing it was so clear and it was so vivid, and it was this transcendental experience. And the communication was also beyond words. It wasn't words that anybody spoke to me. It was almost like a transmission of wisdom. And I feel that we're in the space of receiving great wisdom if we drop the ways of our thinking. We truly get on this path of like, how is it to be? The earth, they say, is the heart chakra of our solar system. It's that Goldilocks, right? Where perfect life lives. This is the Eden. We are the Eden. We are all the organisms. We are all the, like, you know, in the ground there's all like the fungi and all of that stuff that makes the world you know, the bacteria and all that stuff that makes this earth rich. And we part of this whole like experience. Us as these little like beings are so part of this greater experience of bringing through a new consciousness to humanity, to this new earth. And earth herself has chosen to be with us. She's not just this thing that we live on, but a living being, not this thing that you just drive your car in, or maybe the water runs out of the faucet, because there's these rivers and these oceans and these animals that would even survive without humanity. We'd probably have a harder time surviving. The animals would just surpass us. So there's this world that's an entity, and we're part of that. We should be part of that. That's that equilibrium. Maybe this is coming back to this, like us being out of vibration. And maybe my little story at the beginning about us being out of vibration is this earth. Why is she erupting? It's coming back to a frequency that, or this, coming back to this place of our heart, this journey back where we return to the Eden within inside of us, that we realize the importance of each of us. Each of us is an organism that she had to create this greater life. And maybe in that story, this is where the enlightenment is coming. This is like again, this is like, if you lack of a better word, like a higher consciousness conversation, a transmission of light. It's asking you, what is the frequency that you want to carry? Because we are on a journey of ascension, because they say this is what Earth is going through. She too is on an ascension portal. You too is as a soul level on an ascension portal. And together we can amplify that journey, this 4-3 that wants to come through, that came through last week too. So here we are in one vehicle together. This is Earth. She's maybe being carried in this flower of life, this great birthing of a new species. We're here to really anchor in a new way of being, a new consciousness, a new enlightenment. But in order to do so, we need to let go of the things that keep and continue to hold us in this place of resistance. And this is Sun in Aquarius. It's like, I'm going to introduce to you new ideas that you haven't even thought of, because we want to wake up your brains, your mental mood. You've been in this mental mood for such a long time. Your heads have become so heavy. It's time for you to break out of that shell, break into something new. Maybe it's time to truly live freely, to live freely in that place of you, that heart-centered you. So we are inviting you down this ascension passage. This is this 4-3 energy. This passage of opening yourself, heart-centered, a deliverance to that Holy Trinity. And you part of that geometry. And you've been nestled into this organism. And it's also like an atom. We're all made of atoms, right? But then the atoms vibrating together at a density, creating this what appears material. Atoms vibrating at a lighter frequency. It's less seen, more of experiencing. We're moving to this new upliftment. Our cells, our DNA is honestly getting a new, because of the new photon belts or photon light that we're receiving. We're moving into new energy constantly. If these planets are shining this energy down on us, these constellations, these faraway planets, the central sun of this galaxy, the central sun of this universe, every time we move into a planet moves over us, we feel it, or the moon herself, we feel that. We feel it at a cellular, atomic level. And this is what we're moving into, a new atomic level of ourself. At an atomic level, we are being upgraded. So hopefully that makes sense, because on some level, there's this energy that just wants to come through and just really push through and invite you into, it's like this mental mood that we've been thinking is so wrong. It's kept us in this old way, this old patterning. And this is repetitive. We've been hearing this. I can feel the frequencies are changing inside of me too. My ears are changing. It's like too many people are speaking at once. Maybe not enough of us are listening. Maybe it's more of the quietening. This is where the soul reverberation is wanting to come in. So as you walk on your path, It is your way of choosing. Which way is it that you're going? Which way is it that you're wishing, wanting to go? Stand at that precipice and look across the land. Discern your path ahead. Of course you may fall over, and that's okay. That's why you're being human. But remember, it's not just you out on this planet. And it's not just you and me and the other. It's you, me, and all the fishes and the birds and the butterflies and the bees and the trees and the oceans. We're part of this one entity. This is the Enlightenment. We're true one entity. Enlightenment is this delightment. Are you ready? Are you ready to stand in a new place of being? So we invite you, come forward. Come with us. Journey deeper. Don't listen to what is happening. Don't let people cloud you, clouding your imagination. Again, this is a new technology. This is the Aquarian way of thinking. We want you to utilize this new technology. So we invite you down this road of expansion. We invite you down this road of great enlightenment. It's a passageway. We can't see the end. That's okay. But we know as we walk together as one great enlightened being. I know this is actually a wisdom that's been shared with me through my entire life. We were part of one enlightened being, this great universe. So I invite you to walk with me. Let us find this Aquarian heart, this earth-centered way of being, heart-centered way of being. Let us become that one enlightened being. So, hopefully some of that made sense. I'm going to end it there. From my heart to yours, may you always be blessed. Namaste. And again, this is Belinda Pearl, and you can always find me at belindapearl.com. Namaste.